Hey everybody, I'm Javeda Bay, and welcome back to On the Road to Dr. Effin, my web series where I document my journey of being in two PhD programs at the same time, while also being a Black woman. If you don't know, I finished my first semester. Yay! I finished my first semester, and I learned a lot. I expected things to be like easy peasy, mac and cheesy, because like I just finished a master's. Like, how different could it be? Very, 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 very different. Um, and not in the sense of like the work was different or anything like that. It's just very different. And like there's like this like subtle shift between like getting a master's and getting a PhD. And I can't explain it, but if you have gotten a master's and gotten a PhD or like are in the midst, I think you know what I'm talking about. Like things just like subtly change in some way that is just like indescribable. But the changes happened and I learned a lot because of it. So today we're going to talk about what I learned in my first semester of two PhD programs. And spoiler alert, it is not that I should not be doing two programs. So if that is what you came here for, I'm sorry to disappoint. That is not what this video is about. I am trekking on, friends, in both. But I did learn a lot of valuable things. Firstly, it is real important to actually keep up the self-care within PhD programs. Self-care is important in like all aspects of life, but like it's extremely important when you are in the volatile environment that is academia, trying to get a PhD, let alone two. Like self-care is so important. You don't make it through without it. Truly, you do not make it through. And I definitely let my self-care drop off and I just became like busy bee work mode and was like, I can't rest, I can't do anything fun. Like I just need to like push through and get my work done. And it was impossible. It was like really impossible to do. So I learned how important self-care actually is, because resting and rejuvenating and like recentering yourself is like super important to actually getting the work done. If you're running on empty, you can't do well. So self-care is the first thing that I was like, yeah, we're not making that same mistake again. The next thing is how draining emotional labor actually is. And I am used to like putting in a lot of emotional labor. Like it's the nature of being a sex educator. Like it just comes with the territory. I was not it felt different doing so much emotional labor in one of my programs in comparison to like what I do naturally like in my work as a sex educator. And I think a big reason the emotional labor was even more draining is because I was technically paying to do emotional labor. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty about the whole thing, but like there was so much emotional labor done on my part for one program fall semester that like I essentially just checked out because I wasn't like doing self-care and refilling my cup and things of that nature, that by like the middle of the semester I was just like nah, because I was drained, because I was like, I'm putting in all this effort in all these other areas just to make it so that we're all having a better experience, that it was really killing me. So really being mindful of the emotional labor I'm doing is something that I learned. And also like being mindful of, I am the one paying for my schooling. So like at some point, why am I giving away free work and then paying for it? You know what I mean? So really learned a lot about emotional labor fall semester, and I will definitely be changing some things. It is not my responsibility to carry the weight of everything for everyone. No, it's for me. I gotta carry my weight for myself, and that's it. The next thing that I learned that was super important is how important a community is. So obviously I'm in two programs, which means I have two separate cohorts. One cohort, like thick as thieves, like we all talk nonstop, like there's a really strong sense of community there. The other one, I don't really have connections with anybody. The one person that I was like connected with, they were like, I don't think I want to keep going. So I really didn't have community in the second program, and I felt it, because I'm like, okay, not having someone who's also in the same program as you to turn to and be like, hey, do you actually understand this reading? Do you get this assignment? Really makes things a lot more difficult. And so the lack of community also made my first semester really difficult, because like, who can I go to? Like, sure, I have friends that understand like the world of academia and what it's like to be in PhD programs, but they are not in the same discipline. Like they are not over here studying like human sexuality or media psychology. So it's like, ugh, who can I turn to, especially when I really want someone to like debrief or like try and better understand a concept with. So the importance of community. I have not solved that problem for spring semester yet. I really don't know what I'm going to do to tweak it, but I'm still brainstorming. If you have ideas on ways to build community specific to a discipline, please let me know. Drop it in the comments, send me an email. I would love all the advice I can get. But community, it's real important while trying to get a PhD, let alone too. This one, the next thing I learned is something that I've known. I have known it since my first semester of undergrad when I like had to go to a professor for office hours because I signed up for an astronomy class and didn't realize that it wasn't astrology and also that it required so much math and science. So I had to ask for help. And knowing, I knew that back then, how old was I? 18-year-old Jave knew that then. And somehow, 10 years later, nearly 28-year-old Jave, I don't know, is it pride? Is it what? Who knows what it is? But asking for help was really difficult for me this semester. I just like kind of like let things become harder for me. And then finally was like, okay, let me ask for help instead of asking for help when I knew I needed it. So I'm really going to pay attention to that this semester and ask for help ahead of time because there is no shame in asking for help. We all need help in life, and you definitely need help in school when you are learning things that you don't know, and asking for help is okay. And I'm just going to repeatedly remind myself that all spring semester because obviously I forgot it last semester. Another big thing I learned was about expectations. So I naturally just like strive to exceed all expectations, my own and others, because she's an overachiever, like perfectionist, all those things. When it comes to doing academia and especially getting degrees, trying to exceed others' expectations is really not sustainable, especially if you're me and I already have high expectations for myself. To try and exceed others' expectations on top of my own is just unmanageable. It's unbearable, and I need to stop. I need to check it at the door because also this degree is for me. It is for the work I want to do. So other people's expectations about what it's supposed to look like, how I'm supposed to do it, does not matter because their way is not my way. Their way is not going to get me what I want. Their way isn't the way I want to do things. So I really need to work on managing, trying to exceed or even meet other people's expectations because it doesn't make sense. Like, are they paying for the degree? Nope. So I really don't need to worry about what they're thinking or what they're expecting of me. I need to worry about what I think of me and what I expect from me. And that is, of course, like top tier, high quality work, always. But it is not like over the moon, like in a whole new galaxy, like having to recreate the wheel type levels of expectation. We don't do that. I don't need to do that. So that's a big one I learned. So we're really going to manage me trying to exceed others' expectations this spring semester. And then lastly, perfection, it doesn't exist. And I really need to let go of that. I literally like held on to papers for so long because I was like, it's not perfect. Perfect doesn't exist. And in my case, when it comes to writing academic papers, perfection is not going to happen because I am still learning how to write academically at this level. And so I have to come to terms with that. But I definitely learned the importance of recognizing that perfectionism is not real and it's not something I should be aiming for because it doesn't exist and I will never be perfect. I will just have to give my best and 110% always. Well, not always because rest is important, but I'll have to give 110% because that's who I am. But it's not that 110% is perfection. You know what I mean? Yeah. So overall, I learned a lot this first semester. A lot. And so now I'm going to take it and I'm going to apply it to this spring semester. So if you want to know what I'm planning on doing differently for spring semester, come back in 2 weeks because every other week, or no, not 2 weeks. Math, again, not my strong suit. Come back, not next week, but the week after for another episode of On the Road to Dr. Effin, and I will tell you exactly what I'm planning to do to make sure I am successful this spring semester and finish my first year of 2 PhD programs strong AF. But yeah, until then, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram. If you want sex ed me, follow Millennial Sexpert. If you just want me as me, definitely follow Javeda Bay, and make sure you come back next week for In Bed with a Millennial, or just to watch all of my other content. But yeah, I'm gonna see y'all later. Wish me luck. Deuces.